Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Thursday, April 28th. Hard to believe, 2 days left in the NHL regular season. Here we are, a Thursday slate with 9 games on tap tonight. We'll break them all down. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, Jimmy Murphy, Andrew McInnis, all alongside, ready to break it down here on this Thursday card. Before we get to that, just briefly talk about what transpired last night. Obviously, the playoff picture is now solidified in the Western Conference. We at least know all 8 teams now that will be in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Dallas clinches a wild card spot last night by virtue of their 1 point in their overtime loss to the Arizona Coyotes. I said this on Twitter. Typical Dallas Stars, right? Get the bare fucking minimum done to get this playoff spot clinched. You know, we're not going to put the boots to this bad Arizona team. No, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to be making our fans sweat, making them bite their fingernails down the stretch, just pushing that thing, just trying to grind that thing into overtime last night after blowing a 3-0.
And shout out to Jimmy. Shout out to Jimmy.
Yep.
Big call.
Yeah, exactly. There. Who took Arizona. And I had the draw at an incredible price, plus 526.
Nice.
It
Very
was.
nice.
The book that
I had Dallas first period puck line.
So everybody won.
Yeah,
pretty much. And it whatever.
And I had first period over too. I gave that on the show. So
sweet.
Had 4 different bets on that game from all 4 of us, and we all won it. So that's great to see. And but Dallas is in. Dallas did it the only way, accomplished clinching the spot the only way they could, not very easily, because they have not done anything easily this year. So Dallas ends up getting the spot, and of course, what they did was enough to eliminate Vegas right away there. But Vegas, icing on the cake, Vegas loses in a shootout to the Chicago Blackhawks. Good riddance to Vegas, seriously. This is an absolute disgrace, debacle, disappointment of epic proportions in my mind that this team's not in the playoffs. I know they had injuries. I get it. I know they had COVID situations. I get it. So did other teams, though, in the National Hockey League. So let's not totally excuse them for having a bunch of guys. And they did. They were riddled at one point where they had Pacioretty and they had Stone and they had Riley Smith. And they had multiple defensemen like Martinez and McNabb banged up earlier this year, and Leonard was in and out and ended up getting shut down late in the season. I get all of that. There's a lot of reasons from that standpoint that ended up causing Vegas to miss the playoffs. But this team underachieved. Simple as that. And all you got to do is look at the big fish you got at the deadline as transgressor number 1 in terms of disappointing and underachieving, and that's Jack Eichel. I mean, he did absolutely nothing down the stretch. A horrendous giveaway for the Chicago third goal in that game last night. And by the way, the whole team, could you practice your shootouts next year? You might need to. Those were 2 of the worst shootout efforts I've ever seen from a team in back-to-back nights. The Dallas game and the Chicago game last night. How about you deke somebody, elevate the puck, make a little move, you shoot it right at the goalie's chest. What the hell do you expect was going to happen? It's too easy to telegraph that shit. I mean, my gosh, work on the shootout. Yeah. I mean, the lack of creativity, terrible, Alex. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I was just looking at that, and that was the thing I was going to mention is that, you look at what with Vegas. So they've now have lost 5 of the last 6 games. 3 straight games they went into shootouts, 17 shooters, no goals. And, it makes you wonder, okay, is this just a Vegas issue? Like you said, do they need to work on things? Yes, obviously. But I also wonder, too, most of these guys have great hands. We see a lot of creativity. But the fact that the shootout is only 3 rounds, do you think that kind of limits and whole handicap some guys from trying moves that they probably could pull off and score? Obviously you're going to have the guys like Barkov and Kane who, they're masters at the craft as far as one-on-one and breakaways, and they're going to be able to score at will. But for other guys, do you think that because, they don't want to do something stupid and end up on a highlight reel, and miss something that they probably hit 100 times in practice? Do you think that maybe if you increase the shootout round from 3 to 5, because I always thought 3 was kind of weird to begin with. I grew up watching shootouts with 5 rounds. Do you think that would probably open up, more chances for players and they could do more, be more creative without, risk getting, chewed out if they make miss a move in the shootouts?
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. Why is it that the international hockey tournaments and games have 5 rounds in the shootout and only 3 in the NHL? It's always weird that the NHL only went with 3, and it's a very little margin for error too when you do it that way. But that's not a bad point, Alex. I think there's some truth to that. Maybe it's going to make some of these players relax a little bit, maybe take a few more risks, take a few more chances, because you're going to have more opportunity if you miss on one attempt, there's going to be greater opportunity to still win the shootout when you're talking 5 rounds as opposed to 3. I think that's a good point.
I was thinking about that last night. Actually, I was thinking about it the other night when we were on the Betcast watching and talking about the Dallas shootout, but especially watching it again last night because both shootouts went 7 rounds.
Yep.
But you can just kind of tell just the way that they're kind of gripping their sticks and stuff. It's like they're just, they're obviously focused on scoring, but it's like if you have a move in your back pocket, throw it out, especially that time. Obviously, when it's crunch time, hell, even if you wouldn't do that in December or January, but it's April. It's the end of the season. Now's the time to try to score and win and make those moves. So
I find sometimes like you'll see like there's a clear scouting report, like video or a captain or somebody or the other goalie, the backup goalie on your team is saying, hey, this goalie is weak on his glove. And all 4 guys or how many ever guys it is, just go glove and get robbed every time. I mean, it's like, I like the scouting report stuff, but sometimes if you see 3 straight guys go glove, it's like you can pretty much tell that it was planned. But anyway, I'll be the guy to say it. I mean, that Coyotes victory over them in overtime makes Montreal finish last, even with the win that they had. So I was getting messages on Twitter from people saying, geez, your team isn't even good at losing on purpose. And I was like, hey, this might even work out well. They might win the game and still finish last. And here they go, and it happens. So, I think hats off to the Kings for their game. They continue to finish off the season strong. I know they're not playing the biggest opponents, but and even a team like the Jets. I mean, the Jets have kind of struggled all year. They've been up and down and consistent, but I know it was just Philadelphia, but a dominating win for them as well, guys. But just the one play for me ended up being the strong play there on Dallas first period. And hey, as that game progressed, I was happy I just chose the first period there.
Yeah, and obviously Dallas had the strong start, and that's what they do. They park the bus with a lead, and it's always going to allow the opportunity if the opponent capitalizes a few times, and Arizona was able to come back into the game, and that's exactly what happened with the Coyotes there last night. Jimmy, some thoughts from Wednesday?
Well, yeah, I want to start off with Vegas there and get back to what you're saying. Look, I'm not making excuses. They all underachieved when they were healthy. But, I mean, obviously, the injuries did play a role. But as far as Jack Eichel goes, guys, I know everyone loves this narrative and just to jump on him and blame him right now and say, oh, this trade wasn't worth it and Buffalo's won this trade. Last I checked, Jack Eichel didn't play hockey for almost a year. Yeah, maybe longer, actually, after when he first came back. So, he's coming in, he's parachuting in like February. Was it February when he returned? I believe. So he's getting parachuted in February and just dropped into the middle of a condensed season with teams neck and neck in the standings and just, playoff hockey in February almost. I mean, he's human, man. I don't know what people thought he was going to do and come in and be like Pele or something and, Wayne Gretzky or Mario Lemieux or Sidney Crosby. It just wasn't going to happen. Like he should have been good by this point. And he shouldn't be kind of taking some plays off. I'll give you on that. But I just think the blame going towards him and the blame towards Leonard is unwarranted. I think all the blame for all this should go way above.
No.
It goes right
front office
and it trickles down. As they always say, shit trickles down. And it trickled down like a nice river of diarrhea. Yeah. So that's what happened in Vegas to me. Yeah, as for the other games, the Canadiens game was a really exciting game. I mean, for its team, the Rangers throwing a bunch of guys out there aren't really regular NHLers and they have nothing to play for. And then Montreal, like Andrew said, I mean, it's better off if they lose. I love that they want to win games. I love that they're going out there with that mentality. And I think they'll do it again tomorrow against Florida. It was a great gutsy win. And I just had a good feeling on that. I was a little nervous. I'll tell you that. The Rangers kept coming back, but the Canadiens, when they play, I mean, if they can get some players on that team, they could turn it around. I'm not going to say next year, but it could be a lot faster than people expect.
Yeah, they got to figure out what's going on. What's Carey Price going to do next year?
Price anything? Question mark.
That's a big question mark. Who do you have waiting in the wings with your goaltending?
If I was them, I'd be going after Ville Husso.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to go after a goaltender.
Yep. If he hits free, it's sort of a stopgap to your next guy.
Yeah. Something, because
kind of like Linus Ullmark is for Jeremy Swayman.
Yeah. Jake Allen's always injured. You can't rely on him to be number one material. Montembeault is not consistent enough to be number one. You've got to look at
Primo is just damaged goods now from this year.
Know. Yeah,
he's mentally gone.
Do you think? So you think Husso, as opposed to trying to make like a big move for maybe a top, higher tiered goalie, like maybe make a move for John Gibson, perhaps?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I think Gibson.
You could argue Gibson needs a change of scenery. That's
what I think. Because I think that's the thing with Gibson. I think Gibson can be one of the best goalies in the league.
Yeah, wherever he goes, he'll bounce back.
That's what I'm saying. He needs to change the scenery. I think the Eastern Conference might actually be a better kind of feel for him than the West too.
So we'll see.
Yeah, that's possible. That's a good
theory
there. Yeah, but that's definitely going to be something to address. But they've got some prospects both along the blue line on the way and up front. Montreal still.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Ian, on Dallas. I mean, they don't belong in the playoffs.
Don't they look like just one of these meandering, below-average teams most nights? And yet here they are in the playoffs. And look, there is
how they get in.
Yeah, there's a real issue with them giving Calgary fits. There's no question. They have had Calgary's number over the years, but I still can't I still can't wrap my head around them beating Calgary.
Is it definitely Calgary?
It's not for sure yet.
No, it's not for sure yet.
It could be Nashville, right?
Yeah, it still could be. Yeah, it still could be Nashville.
I want to see Nashville, Calgary. I think that series would be.
Yeah, awesome. I'd rather see that too.
Yeah, I think. Well, right now it's 1 point separate. You know what? Probably is going to be Nashville. Actually, I shouldn't say that because Nashville's still only one back of Dallas, and they actually have a game in hand. Nashville's playing tonight and tomorrow night. Dallas is only playing tomorrow night, so that could flip flop. That could flip flop where we actually could see Calgary against Dallas as opposed to Nashville. But again, all of that still to be determined right now. But I kind of with you guys. Calgary Nashville would be one hell of a series because we saw the nastiness and the hatred really ramp up the other night when they played each other.
Calgary Nashville, I'd like to see that because that was just looks like it's going to be a fun series. But I also would love to see Colorado Dallas for the fact that one, Colorado will probably take care of business in 5 or 6 games. 2, that definitely feels like a series that could have a couple of overtime games, especially like I said when you talk about a team like Dallas. So from a betting standpoint, I think, and just from a viewing standpoint, I think having Nashville, Calgary, and Colorado Dallas would both be better matchups.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we'll turn our attention to today's card. We've got 9 games. Before we do that, though, Dave in the chat, great comment. When I want to go to sleep, I just turn on the Dallas game. Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
Most of the time, that is indeed the case. All right, here we go. Thursday, second to last regular season NHL card that we will break down this year on the Ice Guys. Hard to believe we're at the home stretch here of this 82-game regular season, but here we are. New Jersey, Carolina minus 230. Home favorites, minus 250 at DraftKings, 6.5 the total, pretty much across the board here. And it goes without saying, this is definitely dog or pass for me. There's no way I'm interested in Carolina in this spot, clinching the Metro, clinching first place the other night with that victory against the New York Rangers. It's a question of how do they pump themselves up for this matchup here against the New Jersey Devils. They've wrapped up everything. You want to get some guys that are banged up, a little bit of rest here and maybe in this game tonight, and it's certainly looking like that. Rod Brindamore already saying that Jacob Slavin, who's their be-all end-all defenseman, their number 1 defenseman, he's sitting out, rested for this game tonight. Same with Andrei Svechnikov. He will also not go tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes. Of course, Stahl remains injured. Freddie Anderson still injured, but Antti Raanta, who we were worried about being ready for game 1 in the playoffs just a few days ago with his injury, he's not only good enough to start, but he is starting here tonight for the Hurricanes. Antti Raanta in net, which means he's going to be the guy in game 1 of the playoffs if Frederik Andersen is still not ready to go. I think that pretty much seals the deal that, even though he's been impressive at times here in this limited duty that he's had the last few games, it ain't going to be Pyotr Kochetkov in net for Carolina for game 1. It'll be Raanta who will be in net tonight. As far as New Jersey goes, look, they aren't exactly totally fully healthy either. They've got Subban day-to-day on the blue line. Heishier's out. Jack Hughes is out. Siegenthaler on the blue line out. Thomas Tatar out for the New Jersey Devils. So they're a little bit depleted too. I mean, if you think Carolina resting guys, New Jersey maybe a little bit of an advantage, but they do have some key cogs out of the lineup and a little bit of line juggling tonight for Lindy Ruff, going with Andreas Janssen, Dawson Mercer, and Yanni Kuokkanen on his top line, if I'm seeing that correctly. Just want to make sure that's not a mistake because, sometimes there's some sites that are a little bit off with the line combos, but boy, that's definitely juggling the line. Second line tonight as of Jesper Bratt with Boquist and Alexander Holtz. This is a prop look for me with him. He's been promoted from AHL Utica. This is a guy that's a 7th overall pick in the first round from 2020, 26 goals, 51 points in 52 AHL games this year with Utica, the Comets there. And now he's going to make his NHL debut here tonight for the New Jersey Devils. 20 years old, going to get top 6 forward minutes tonight on that second line. You better believe if we can find some Holtz props, I sure hope we see them. We know sometimes these books with the players that just get called up, we don't see their props right away. Certainly the first game, we don't always see them, but definitely that would be something I'd target if I could find it on Alexander Holtz tonight, playing with Boquist and Brad on that second line. I still like New Jersey in this spot. I think they're worth a look here. First period full game money line split, which is what I did with Montreal last night against the Rangers. It's what I did with Chicago against Vegas last night. It's just for Carolina, this is get the game over with, get some guys rested. You've locked up everything. And don't forget, New Jersey almost beat these guys and should have beat them the last time they played them. Remember, it was a Saturday afternoon. They were up 2-0 in that game, and they blew it in the third period.
Yeah, that was just last Saturday.
Yep, they blew it in the third period, and they lost in overtime in New Jersey. I mean, the Devils, they should have beaten the Hurricanes. And I think there's a little onus and incentive that, hey, should have beaten these guys the last time we played them. We played damn good against Carolina last time. So now you get them again. Carolina's kind of disinterested, trying to just get the game done. I think we have a live dog here. A huge price, take a shot. That's what I say. Alex, what do you think here? Devils, Hurricanes.
I don't know. I'm probably going to pass. Jersey. Yeah, I know. I'm wearing the jersey, but I'm more likely going to pass this game because my gut feeling actually was looking at the under, which we just talked about yesterday. I don't bet a lot of unders, but like I said, with New Jersey having a lot of top guys possibly being out of the lineup, Carolina, like I said, probably going to be resting guys as well. I just don't see where the goals are going to exactly come from. But the fact that it's Ronta and that we still kind of wanted to see, if he's going to be fully healthy and ready, and whether it's John Gillies or Nico Dawes for the Devils, doesn't matter. Pretty much the same. It just feels like it could be one of these games. Yeah, it could be 7-4. But it could also be 3-2 going in overtime. So I'll probably pass this one and look for some spots live. But my gut feeling, and if I had to play something right now, it would be under 6.5.
All right, lean to the under 6.5 here for Alex. If you were to bet something here in this one, Andrew, what do you think here? New Jersey, Carolina.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because Carolina wasn't looking too great for a short period of time, and it's kind of like I've been saying, I sound like a broken record, but which teams care about these final few games? Which teams don't? Take a look at Carolina. It's been kind of a mixed bag of opponents that they've taken on, but they've developed a little mini win streak here. And as much as it sounds funny to say because they've had such a great season, I think they needed that. And New Jersey is a team that I'm ready to continue to fade, actually. I think that obviously two teams in different directions, but a Devils team that I don't really envision playing spoiler here. But I'll be honest here, guys. I'm not going to make a play on this game. Like Alex said, it could be an in-game opportunity if you are tuning in. There's plenty of other games going on tonight that I might have my eye on, including the Raptors game. But if I do decide to tune into this one or scoreboard watch, there could be some decent live betting opportunities here. But, right now everybody's scoring goals on the Devils. But the irony is that was what we were used to. The Devils aren't scoring themselves, like Alex mentioned. So, when Alex said the under in the Devils game, I had to take a double check or see if my ears were working all right. But, he's right. I mean, this is the team that's struggling to score as well. And maybe Carolina takes that approach I've been talking about where, hey, maybe they just want to focus on defense and get into that playoff mode. So if I was to play the game, I'd go towards the under, but I'm not playing the dog in this one either. I think that the under's the play. Carolina, I'm priced out from that. I got to stick with totals here over the next few days.
Yeah, definitely. This is the perfect time of year to remind everybody that's tuning into the show. It's okay to pass. These last 2 days, there's no question about that. I just think in this price range, they do have the flu. Or at least they did. The Devils. That's true. Apparently, it's starting to work its way out of the room. The flu bugs, from what I've heard. So hopefully that helps them tonight. But you're right. It's absolutely no cinch that New Jersey wins tonight. We saw it with Seattle last night against LA. I mean, Seattle had a great spot on their side last night and still couldn't get the job done against the LA Kings. So it's never, and look at even Montreal gift wrapped a terrific situation against a Rangers team resting everybody. And they still needed a goal in the final minute, to pull that one out. So nothing is a given. Jimmy, what do you think here? New Jersey, Carolina.
Sorry, I was a little distracted. I just got a text that my girlfriend says, I've got some bad news. We just found out that my boss has been coming to work all week with COVID.
Wow.
Whoa.
Fucking asshole.
What a guy.
What a great guy. Knew it and didn't tell anyone. And
I
then
thought you were going to say you were having a kid again, Jimmy.
No, I wish. He was bragging.
That is bad news.
He was bragging to one of the coworkers who were like, "Are you a moron? Why are you bragging about this to me?" And she went to his superior.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Good. So now I got to go get tested again. I do not want to deal with that again. Yeah. Even if it's just a little cold, it's just the whole thing of being quarantined. And
right, yeah.
Fucking pain in the ass. What an asshole. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Jimmy's life right on display for you right here on the Ice Guys.
Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law, yeah.
You know what?
We hope you're okay. We hope you're testing negative too.
I kind of feel the under in this too. I just feel like it's going to be one of these games. Nobody wants to even be there. Very lackadaisical and kind of blah. So I'm going to go with some value here. Take the under in the under 1.5 in the first period.
All right.
Like plus 145 right now, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a big price. You're right. Around that plus one.
You could even find twos.
Yep.
Shop around. Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
I actually see a 2 at, wait, if I'm not mistaken, I'm checking it right now. You can get, it's okay. You got to lay a price. You got to lay $1.30 but under 2. So
yeah. So I'm looking at my bookie. I'm looking at it plus 145 for an under 1.5.
All right, there we go. That's a good number, good price.
Maybe a 0-0, 1-0 first period, and then maybe it opens up after that. Who knows?
Yeah. Now, 10 years ago, you got under 1.5 at. You have to lay a price on under 1.5 first period. Now you get these big plus prices on them because of the first period over. Trends that have been huge in the league the last few years. Buffalo and Boston next up. We've got the Bruins minus 300 home favorites, 6 the total in this game. Look, we got Boston obviously in a spot where, Tampa Bay is probably going to get third in the Atlantic. There is a way for Boston to overtake them, but it's going to take a lot. First of all, Tampa, all they need to do is beat Columbus in any fashion, and they're third in the Atlantic, and they play Toronto in the first round. That's what it'll take for them. If Tampa gets 1 point against Columbus, the Bruins lose to Buffalo in any fashion, then Tampa would still get third, clinch third in the Atlantic. So that's the permutations here tonight. This is tricky because this price is just so value laden on this Buffalo team that I've been riding their coattails for weeks now, talking about how well they've played here down the stretch. But they do have a big home finale tomorrow night on tap with Rick Jenneret's final call in the broadcast booth before he retires after 51 incredible years as the Buffalo Sabres play-by-play voice. That's a significant game and setting for them. So do they remain on task, focused tonight for the Boston Bruins? But this team has won 4 in a row. I mean, they beat Philly twice back-to-back, New Jersey, the Islanders, now all non-playoff teams. So you could say there's a sisters of the poor element there, no question. Boston will be a whole lot tougher. And Boston's played well lately, 3 straight wins for them. But this is Buffalo or nothing for me at this price, as far as I'm concerned. I ain't interested in fading Buffalo at prices like this, at getting big underdog prices like this with the way they have played and fought the good fight down the stretch. It looks like for the Bruins, there will be no load management tonight for them. It looks like the people that have been rested at times, like Lindholm and Pasternak in particular, both of them are going to be in the lineup tonight for the Bruins. Goaltending, it'll be Linus Ullmark for Boston, Dustin Tokarski in net for the Sabres here tonight. So it's definitely a lean to Buffalo. Maybe I get involved from a very small way with them, but I'm a little bit concerned that the focus is really on tomorrow night when they wrap up at home against Chicago and say goodbye to the legend Rick Jenneret. Alex, what do you think here, Sabres Bruins?
Yeah, I like the over in this spot. And it's interesting you mentioned about Dustin Tokarski starting this game and Craig Anderson starting tomorrow. Obviously, like I said, the events and stuff around Rick Jenneret. But keep in mind, Craig Anderson at 40 years old, this might be, could possibly be one of his final NHL games, and he would be wrapping it up against the Chicago Blackhawks, the team he grew up watching and started his career with. So that's something to really keep in mind for as far as tomorrow with that Buffalo game. But for tonight, I like that over 6. I just found it even money at one shop. I could see where Buffalo's not really interested in this one. Boston's playing their top guys. This could easily fly over 6. So that's what I like.
All right, over 6 for Alex here. Andrew, Sabres Bruins.
I've got nothing in this game. This is one of those particular spots where potentially a Buffalo Sabres plus price, hey, it's a pretty good one. But I think the Bruins are in that category for me where, guys, we're going to break these down, but the opponent they're going to play in the playoffs, which is most likely going to be Carolina. I think it is 100%. Carolina It's not 100%. Okay, not 100%. Okay, my fault. But we think it might be, but 16-1. That's what they were outscored during the regular season matchup.
Yeah,
I don't think this Boston team's going to say, I don't care anymore about this. The last little while here, they care.
There's an
I
inkling
think so
they
anyway.
may want Toronto more than Carolina. I don't think they're going to
Yeah.
get Toronto though.
Yeah. Oh, Jimmy, you're muted a little bit. I think
he's muted. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. If they go 2-0 and Tampa goes either 0-2-0 or 0-1-1,
right.
the Bruins get third because of the regular season regulation wins tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tiebreaker
There's
goes
still
to
a good chance they could do it. I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
And
it's hard to envision Tampa losing both to Columbus and the Islanders these last two games, who have looked totally flat, but crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
Who knows, right? I just think, I mean, I think that's why they're icing a full lineup, guys. I'm shocked, honestly. I thought they would have just said, screw it, we'll just play Carolina, but it looks like they want to try for Toronto.
Yeah, why not, given the fucking series history,
I know,
right?
eh?
When's the last time the Leafs beat the Bruins in any sort of big game?
I wonder, even if they know there's like the slightest little chance they're going to do it, they're just doing it to stick it to Toronto right now. They're just like, nope, we're going with the full roster.
Yeah.
We're Toronto.
I don't have much here in this game.
Just getting in their heads.
Yeah,
I think we could see some goals, but I just like Jimmy mentioned, I think the Bruins do care. So, with that being said, I'm finding it difficult to find a winner, so I'm staying off.
All right, nothing wrong with that. All right, Florida, Ottawa. We've got Florida minus 220.
I got to play on this, though, guys.
Oh, go ahead, Jimmy. Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to look at the, with the way they're throwing a full lineup out right now. I would say, let's look at a Jimmy Puck line on this.
Oh,
Give me a Jimmy Puck line. Yep. And I'll give me the other way. I'm going to go the under. Jimmy Puck line and an under.
All right, so Bruins minus 1.5, minus 115, and under 6 in this game against the Sabres here tonight.
Minus Mark. Big game.
Yeah. Linus, look, to only give up 2 goals to Florida, you're doing something right. And he certainly did the other night in that 4-2 win against the Panthers, who are up next on our breakdown. Florida against Ottawa. Florida minus 220, road favorites, 7 the total here in this game. When you look at the matchup here, you're obviously going to see a lot of 7s with Florida. You see it again here. Spencer Knight, by the way, going to be in net here for the Panthers. And look, from a total standpoint, Radko Gudas, is going to be out day to day. I think it's because it's precautionary. It's not like it's a major injury. If it was game 1 of the playoffs, he'd be in tonight. And yeah, he lacks foot speed. He's a very good, in terms of positioning, he's good. He's a big body.
He's an important player for them.
He's an important defensive player. So, without him, I think Ottawa has a better opportunity to find the back of the net. And let's be honest, Spencer Knight's not had a great sophomore season this year necessarily for the Panthers. He was absolutely just dreadful against Tampa Bay, although the whole team didn't play great that night on Sunday. 5 goals allowed on 17 shots before getting the hook in that game on the Sunday against the Lightning. So he's got to atone for that. And the whole team maybe will try to play better in front of him too. But I think this is dog or pass for me. Now, I know Florida, and Jimmy, you said this, and your buddy George there who covers the Panthers said it, that they're interested in the President's Trophy. They're battling with Colorado right now for that President's Trophy. Of course, Florida right now sitting at 120 points. Colorado at 118 points. Both of them have 2 games left. So Florida obviously has the upper hand right now, and apparently they want it. I understand that. But didn't Brunette also say that maybe we're going to give some guys some rest here in these final couple of games? And so it's kind of contradictory. You want the President's Trophy, but and you look at Florida tonight, Anton Lundell's going to be rested. Gudas is being rested. So there's a little bit of truth to that.
Yeah, that's why, I think like I said, they were all kind of looking at that game. The players like, this is really probably our last legit chance to secure that President's Trophy against Boston there. But then, they lost Lindell and Gudas in that game. So that was a huge loss, man. They had to play more than half the game, I think, without those guys. So
yes. Of course, and short-handed the other night when those guys went out to injury against Boston, and of course they end up losing that game 4-2 to the Bruins. I would only look at Ottawa here at a big underdog final home game for the Ottawa Senators. I think you probably bet on them tonight. Maybe if go against them tomorrow night when they finish at Philly. But we've said this all week. These teams that are wrapping up, even these non-playoff teams wrapping up their home schedule, they want to send the fans home happy. Chicago did that last night. It was a valiant effort from them. in the home finale against Vegas. There's something to that, and I think you're going to get that from Ottawa tonight. So this could be a live home dog, in my opinion. If I'm betting this game, it's Ottawa for me. Alex, what do you think? Panthers, Senators.
That's a pass for me. I might look to play the first period over live because I'm not gonna lay a price with 2. That's where you got to lay $1.20 for over 2. So I might try to get a 1.5 at a better adjusted price. But the way Florida scores, you may not have enough time to grab that. So it's probably gonna be a pass for me.
All right, a pass for Alex in this one. Philip Gustafson is not confirmed yet, but projected to be the goalie. That's the one little drawback here with maybe taking Ottawa. That 3.52 goals against an 8.93 save percentage is not exactly confidence building. That being said, he did have one of his best starts of the entire season against Columbus the last time he started. 1 goal allowed on 34 shots. A much better game from him. If he's in net tonight for Ottawa, we'll see if he can deliver something similar here. Andrew, anything here for you, Florida, Ottawa?
Well, guys, I know this is quite chalky, and late in the season, I don't like to get myself in these situations. But one thing I wanted to look towards was the team total over 2.5 goals for the Ottawa Senators. Just like Alex kind of mentioned there, you don't really know what you're going to get with the Florida Panthers, but what you do know is at any given moment we could see 2, 3, 4 goals in a span. You know how it is, Ian, with that Florida Panthers team. And the reason why I say it's chalky, it is 145, 150 for this 2.5 price. But it's one of those things where, I'm not a fan of taking the plus 1.5s that much, especially in hockey, baseball, these money line sports, obviously, where you're turning a big dog, a plus 180 into, a minus 110 or something like that, or worse. But in this opportunity here, I don't exactly want the plus 180 because I don't know if they could win the game, but I feel as if they could get to 3 goals. And I feel more comfortable with that than a total full game or, both teams and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'd go. If you don't feel comfortable with that minus 145, 150, you could find a dance partner for it, but I think it's worth a play.
All right, very good. By the way, hit the like button. As Alex said in the chat, we got up to 115 live viewers. Make sure you hit that like button. It definitely helps us out. Jimmy, what do you like here? Florida, Ottawa.
I think Florida big here. I just, Ottawa's missing a lot of guys too. A lot of guys have been shut down for the season. And I think coming off that loss to the Bruins the other night, they're going to want to bounce back. They're going to want to get this if they can. So I'm going to go Panthers minus 2.5 to get a little more value there.
All right, going alternative Jimmy Puck line here. Minus 2.5 for the Florida Panthers, which is obviously a big number, a big price there. With that, you can get the Florida Panthers alternative puck line minus 2.5 plus 185 if you want to jump on that with the Panthers. By the way, Sens 4-0 last 4 games, 6-2 their last 8 games. So won't be a pushover. The pesky Sens are back in full force here down the stretch late in the regular season. All right, we've got Washington taking on the New York Islanders. Washington minus 135, road favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. I mean, this is a stay away for me. The only thing I'd venture to consider maybe the over, but again, the other night, I believe it fell short when these two teams played, so I'm not exactly in love with it. Of course, the previous meeting was 4-1 in favor of the Islanders. You give the Islanders credit, actually, for that win, because it's a team that had really looked like they'd been tapping out down the stretch since being eliminated officially from the playoffs, but they responded with a nice 4-1 win against Washington. Washington's another team, like there's not really much they can do. They're locked into second wild card spot. They can't go up. They can't go down. They are where they are right now. So this is not a team I'm laying a price with on the road. I don't trust the Islanders either necessarily. I'm not in a rush to back them. So I'm staying off it. Alex, what about you? Capitals, Islanders. I think we lost Alex. He's on the screen, but I think we lost him here.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. I had to adjust something with the camera there. Yeah. I like this is one that I have the first period over. I played this at minus $1.30, 1.5. That's just something we've been seeing cashing with the Islanders right now. Like I said, they're kind of playing for exercise. The Capitals just want to make sure no one gets hurt and everyone stays healthy and get ready for game one. But I still think we can see some scoring early here. And 5.5, I would obviously have to look at the over for the full game too. But I'd like that first period over a little bit more. So I'm going with that. I only laid $1.30. And you could actually probably wait maybe a little bit and grab an even better price in game, even though I think 130 is fine. But you could possibly find a plus price. And we shouldn't see scoring right away. Exactly. So.
Yeah, that's a good point, Donnie. I totally screwed that up. You're right. They can go up to third. They can pass Pittsburgh. They absolutely could still leapfrog Pittsburgh for third place in the Metropolitan Division. But again, that spot, it gets you. It still has you playing on the road to begin the playoffs in game 1 and game 2. You don't have home ice advantage. So again, with Washington and Pittsburgh here, how much of is it a carrot that's dangling in front of you that you really want? It's nice to move up, but you still have to end up going on the road to start that playoff series next week. Andrew, do you like anything here? Capitals, Islanders. Nope. Andrew muted.
Sorry, I do like something in this game. I like the Washington Capitals on the money line, and I take a look at the New York Islanders, the team that they have been over the past month and a half compared to the team they were in the first month and a half of the season. It's two different hockey teams. There's no denying it. There's no doubt about that. But again, we talk about certain teams looking at a Colorado Avalanche or some of these top tier teams that these bottom last couple games might not mean as much. When you come in as the bottom seed to the playoffs or in the East, like the Washington Capitals will be, you want to come in on a great note, I believe. So I think this is a good spot, a good number, and I think they'll get it done on the road here.
Yeah, minus 135. They did lose 4-1 to the Islanders, so short turnaround revenge spot too. And like I said, there is still something. Like I said, I don't know how much they're really geared into, the chase for third when in the division when you still have to start on the road in the playoffs, but it is something to shoot for. And they did lose to the Islanders earlier this week, so I think that alone is the case you can make definitely for the Washington Capitals here. Jimmy, what do you think here? Washington, New York.
I'm going to pass on this, guys. Jimmy pass.
All right, Jimmy pass for on that one. All right, Tampa Bay and Columbus. Tampa Bay minus 260, road favorites, 6.5 the total. Tampa Bay not beat them down, but controlled the game pretty much. They won 4-1 against Columbus in Tampa. Now they have a home and home here. Now they're in Columbus tonight, and it'll be Brian Elliott actually in net tonight, given Andrei Vasilevsky a little bit of rest prior to the playoffs. So we'll see Brian Elliott, the veteran, in net for Tampa. It's Merzlikins again for the probably millionth consecutive game. I think he's played all but one game for the Columbus Blue Jackets the last 2 months. I mean, it really is unbelievable how much hockey this guy has played. And really, to be quite honest with you, he's doing the best he can. Are his numbers great? No. 906 save percentage, 3.26 goals against average. But again, against Tampa Bay, he's only 2-6, 2.54 goals against. He gave up the 4 spots. He's had a real tough time in the past against Tampa Bay. I mean, I think Tampa Bay wins the game. Do I want to get involved with them? Not necessarily. If anything, I would look maybe toward in this game, Tampa Bay's team total. You got to lay a price. It's over 3.5 here with the Lightning team total is minus 160. But I liked it the other night against Columbus in Tampa. I don't know why I would feel any differently tonight. The only difference is tonight you're laying pretty much even a little bit higher price, believe it or not, than you did with that. Actually, it was 4.5 in Tampa. It's 3.5 here. I think take advantage of the 3.5, that it's minus 150 to minus 160 here. That's what I'm banking on. I'm not going to bank on Columbus necessarily against Elliott, who's been capable. This isn't just, it's Brian Elliott. We're going to think he's going to give up goals. That hasn't always been the case this year with Brian Elliott. He's had a decent season in spot duty as a backup. Look how he played against Nashville. He gave up just 2 goals. They beat Nashville by a score of 6-2. He had a shutout just recently in a game against Buffalo. So Brian Elliott can still play. Remember, this is a veteran goalie. He's played a lot of games in the league. He's not chopped liver. So I would focus more on Tampa doing the scoring. So over 3.5 team total is where I'd go at minus 150, 55 in this game. Alex, what do you think here? Tampa Bay, Columbus.
This was a complete pass for me. I don't want anything to do with either one of these teams.
All right. How about you, Andrew? He's muted again.
Sorry, I keep chiming in, and I don't want to disrupt you when I can tell you're in your zone. I'm the exact same way as you. I think that what have we seen here from this Tampa Bay Lightning team? I mean, going down 4-8, 6-8, a little bit of lower scoring there. They lose to Detroit, then 7 before that. They've made it look almost like it's the worst thing in the world if you score less than 4 goals recently. Their offense is coming to life. And hey, Ian, remember when all the comments were coming out about the depth of the Lightning? Do they have a third line anymore? Are they going to be good next year without those messing around with the cap? I think they still have some depth. So I think the team total is a good play.
Yeah, I mean, and I've mentioned this, Andrew, great point. I've mentioned this several times lately, especially talking about how coming into the year, everybody was worried, no Coleman, Gord, and Gaudreau anymore, that terrific third line, which was their best line at times in that run to the Stanley Cup last year. But I think a certain Nick Paul, Ross Colton would disagree with you that they don't have a third line this year, because those guys are on that third line, and they've been phenomenal for the Lightning. They've been my player prop go-to players for the Lightning as of late as well, and throw in Brandon Hagel as well, who they got from Chicago. So all of a sudden, it's looking like they've got a third line they can count on to produce a little bit. We know up front, top six, we were going to get stuff from Cirelli and Stamkos and Point and Kucherov and Killorn and all those guys. You're going to get offense from them. But this third line has stepped up during this great stretch here to wrap up the regular season for Tampa Bay. And that's making them dangerous again. They all of a sudden look dangerous again. And they look like they've flipped the switch. And just like that, after a little malaise there for a few weeks, they look like a team that could be ready to make a deep run and try to defend their Stanley Cup and win it for a third consecutive year. No doubt about that. Jimmy, what do you think here? Lightning Jackets.
Well, here's my shock of the day, boys. I'm on the BJs on the money line.
BJ's, all right. Columbus, is it the home finale for? I think it is.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. They'll be inspired. It's the final home game. They just got whacked by Tampa. I think Tampa's playing too good though right now. I think Tampa wants Toronto. Tampa wants Toronto. There's no question in my mind about that. And they want to wrap this thing up as early as tonight. Will they is the question, but you're right about that one thing, Jimmy. Columbus won't roll over tonight. You know, it is their final home game. They've obviously had a tough season, no question about that. It's just they've got lots of concerns, though, from an injury standpoint. Werenski's out again. Boquist day-to-day. Lyonnais probably not playing. Blankenberg, the kid that just came up and has looked so good so far, he's out tonight. So a lot of problems for Columbus in terms of the lineup. Very depleted tonight. We'll see if they can overcome that here tonight. All right, next up, we've got Calgary, Minnesota. Even money, -110, 6.5 the total in this game. I like the Wild here. I like Minnesota, -110. I mean, I think it means a whole lot more to the Minnesota Wild this game than the Calgary Flames. We saw Calgary, of course, the other night against Nashville. They won, but it was only because of an absolutely horrendous goal given up by David Riddick, Big Siv Dave, in overtime of that game. I give Calgary credit for winning the last two games against Vancouver and Nashville because those teams had something to play for. So does Minnesota. But for Minnesota, that's an all-time embarrassment, losing that game and really getting outplayed. Alex and I have been saying this multiple times about that game because we saw it on the BetCast that night. That was not a fluke. That's not, Minnesota was unlucky. The game was stolen from them. No, Arizona was better. Arizona flat out outplayed the Wild. I think that stings. I think that's a wake-up call to everybody with this Minnesota team, and I think they play one hell of a game tonight. So I like Minnesota -110. Just means a whole lot more. The good news is they got away unscathed from that loss to Arizona because St. Louis lost to Colorado the other night, so they keep pace with the Blues, tied in points down to the wire for second in the Central and an all-important home ice advantage in that first-round series between the two teams when they play each other. So I think for Minnesota, it's a wake-up call, and they answer the alarm here tonight on their home ice. Alex, what do you think here? Calgary, Minnesota.
Yeah, I agree. I grabbed -$1.10 yesterday as soon as it opened because I thought it was going to balloon up, and it did. It went up to $1.20, $1.25 in some spots, but we're seeing it kind of come crashing back a bit because people are just betting Calgary off a name. Like this game means way more for Minnesota, and of course being at home, like I said, finally getting a chance to, okay, hey, let's buckle down, play our game. Get 2 points so we can try to secure home ice after that debacle. And even if this is the middle of the year, losing to a team like Arizona, you would just expect most of the top tier teams to come back the next game against whomever and bounce back and play well. So that's what I expect to see from the Wild. And, the Flames are still going to be a viable team. I don't think they're just going to just lay down. I think we're going to see a all-out effort at both ends of the ice from the Wild tonight at home. So I like them quite a bit tonight.
All right, liking them quite a bit. Even money here. Andrew, Calgary, Minnesota.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you.
I'm on the Minnesota Wild as well. It seems like a lot of people like them, but I think it's a smart play. It's a sharp play for tonight. And the Flames, remember a couple days ago, guys, I said they'd be up for that Nashville game because it's, who they're playing. I think this one is just a little bit of a different story. Minnesota at home will show up tonight and get it done. And it's been interesting to follow the prices though on this one, guys, the way it's moved around a little bit up and down throughout the day. Yes. But I'm on the home team as well.
Yeah, and another thing I wanted to mention, I think it makes this bet against spot for Calgary and bet on spot for Minnesota even better. The nature of that Calgary-Nashville game. Overtime game, high intensity, high emotion, physical, multiple fights, multiple scrums, a lot of animosity. Calgary knows they could very well play that team in the first round. That could be a difficult game for them to bounce back and play tonight here, coming off a game like that. That was emotional. It was intense. It was physical, hard hitting. Takes a lot out of you, a game like that. And a team you might be seeing next week in the first round. Now you wheel around, you play Minnesota here. This could be a tricky turnaround for Calgary. Jimmy, what do you think?
Yeah, guys, I'm going with the Wild on the puck line here, and I like the under as well.
All right, Wild puck line -1.5 at plus 210. Great price there, absolutely. And under 6.5 is the total here in this one. Yeah, Cam Talbot, Jacob Markstrom, your goalies here tonight for this game. Of course, Talbot actually better the last two starts. Led the team to a victory against Minnesota, solid in that game, and then the shutout against Montreal. So last two starts for Cam Talbot, pretty well here in the last two starts, better from him. So we'll see if he can keep that up tonight. Nashville, Colorado. Colorado -300, home favorite, 6.5 the total. So a week-long malaise for Colorado since they clinched the Western Conference #1 seed. And that's a big deal. I mean, they know they can't go up, they can't go down. And boy, they played like it. They went on that road trip. They didn't give two shits, which I've said a million times. Jared Bednar didn't even bring Devon Taves on the trip for that swatch where they played Edmonton and Winnipeg and all of those teams. They ended up losing all of those games. They lost to Washington and Seattle as well at the 4-game losing streak. But they returned home to Denver against an excellent St. Louis team that's been rolling, and they woke up again. Devon Taves was in the lineup. They looked like they, were locked in again, or at least a little extra gear against the Blues the other night, and they got the job done. And potentially that's there tonight because Colorado does still have a President's Trophy that, maybe they want it, maybe they don't, who knows, but they're still only 2 points back of Florida for that spot. I think this could be a team that is dialed in potentially here tonight. And it is, again, home finale. They're in Minnesota tomorrow night, but this is their final home game at Ball Arena in the Mile High City. So I think there's onus for Colorado to show up, play well here. Not so sure what we get from Nashville. I think it's kind of a bet against spot for them, just like it is for Calgary off the physical, emotional game the other night. Nashville's clinched their playoff spot. It's just now a question of, are they wild card 1 or wild card 2? And who do they play in that first round? So this would be Colorado for me, probably in some form, especially then when I see the marquee goaltending-wise in this game, and I see Big Siv starting the game tonight and confirmed in net for the Nashville Predators. David Riddick in net for them tonight. Did you see that goal? Calgary scored on him in overtime. Terrible goal. How do you let that in? Terrible in that overtime loss for him. I don't trust him. Colorado starting to whip their offense back into shape against a good Blues team. I would target team total here, over 3.5 -150. That's really what I'm locking in on here with the Avalanche tonight. Team total over 3.5 -150 against the Predators. Alex, what do you think here, Nashville, Colorado?
So here's the interesting thing. We've been kind of talking about this for a little bit, maybe the last 3 or 4 weeks, kind of talking about, the motivation of who, one team want to play. People are, saying, there's conspiracy theories of all teams may want to, do this or this to try to avoid somebody. Well, Nashville needs to get 2 points tonight for sure to make sure that they don't have to play Colorado in the first round. They're behind Dallas by 1 point. So if they lose this game in regulation, they're going to be right back in Colorado next a few days for game 1, which would not be ideal for them most likely. I feel like they have a better matchup with Calgary. We talked about how we'd like to see Nashville Calgary, but I think Nashville has a better shot against Calgary than they do against Colorado. That being said, in this game tonight, I took over 2 at plus 115. So with Colorado's offense, getting back in the form, Rantanen back in the lineup, I think we're going to see that offense click early. And so that, that's the thing. So it's also kind of a live game to see too, because if Nashville goes down to, 2 or 3 goals early in the game, they just say, well, hell, this is where we are. We're going to be playing Colorado again soon. Then they might just, kind of just, take the foot off the gas altogether. They really might do much of nothing about it. But if they are playing, get a good jump and maybe get the first goal, or whatever, they might be, interested to say, hey, let's try to win this game so we can avoid having to play these guys when it really counts in a few days. So it's kind of the mindset of Nashville. So that's what the beauty of live betting. You want to see the tempo of the game. You also want to just kind of see the body language of each club. Maybe Nashville doesn't give a shit. Maybe Nashville comes in super inspired. So that's something I want to wait and see. But I do like this first period over at 2 at plus 115.
Yeah. I like Colorado team total over, but I wouldn't talk anyone. And in fact, I might bet it a little smaller than the team total, and that's the full game over 6.5, simply because of the fact here we've got 3 straight overs head to head, 6-2, 5-2, 5-4 with these two teams. Certainly Nashville's been kind of trending that way over-wise. 5 of the last 6 Nashville games have gone over the total. I'm going to look up specifically right now because I have the ability to do that here. David Riddick and the totals in his 4 straight Riddick starts have gone over the total. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 of the last 9 David Riddick appearances, 8-1 to the over. 8-1 to the over in David Riddick's last 9 appearances in net for the Nashville Predators.
It's something to keep in note because if Saros isn't ready for game 1, it's going to be his job. So.
Yep, and that there is definitely a difference. Saros has had his little hiccups here and there, but he still had a pretty good season overall, all things considered, and still a difference with him and Riddick, no question. Andrew, what do you think here, Nashville, Colorado?
I'll be real, guys. I have one more play today, and it's in the Vancouver game. So I'm just gonna kind of take a back seat to the next 2 games.
All right, Jimmy.
I am on Colorado puck line here, Jimmy puck line.
There it is, Jimmy Puckline. Getting a workout today, Jimmy Puckline.
Yeah.
-1.5, -120. Hey, it's big favorites.
What the puck?
Yeah, what the puck, exactly. All right, next up, we've got San Jose, Edmonton. Edmonton -320, home favorites, 6.5 the total. There's a little bit of an element of you got to, maybe test me to see if I'm still mentally there to this bet, but I do like San Jose a little bit here. I really do. First period and money line split. First period and full game money line split at this big number. For Edmonton, they're in the same spot. We talked about Carolina, other teams. They've locked themselves into second in the Pacific. They're going to have home ice in the first round. They're going to host LA in the game 1 and game 2 of that series starting next week. What's Edmonton going to do here? Now, the one concern here for this taking San Jose is obviously Edmonton is, they got home games tonight and tomorrow, but this isn't their final home game. They do play Vancouver tomorrow. So that's maybe the home game where we see them all in a little bit more, especially against a rival like the Canucks. The thing is, they're not resting anybody from what I've seen, at least not yet. Jay Woodcroft hasn't said he's resting anybody. It's only going to be Nurse out, and that's due to injury, not because of rest. So there is a little element of, hey, we're going to have a full-strength Oilers team. That could be trouble for San Jose, even if Edmonton's not fully mentally invested in this game tonight because they've locked up everything. But at the same point in time, we have seen evidence of San Jose be giant killers, haven't we? Went into Vegas, beat the Golden Knights, handed them a crucial blow to their playoff hopes. It's not exactly like the Sharks have totally rolled over. Now, they had a horrible game against Anaheim the other night, but that was coming off that big, huge upset. They reacted like they won the Stanley Cup that night. San Jose, when they beat Vegas in overtime. They knew they had handed Vegas a very, very crippling blow to their playoff hopes. And San Jose definitely, they were fired up for that game and they played like it. And they kind of fell flat against Anaheim. I think they pull themselves back up and give Edmonton a game here tonight. So, maybe test me for a fever or something. Maybe I'm not feeling well right now saying this, but I'm going to take my shot here with San Jose money line in the first period, which you can get at plus 190, plus 195, and then in the full game as well at around up to plus 270 in some spots with the Sharks full game money line. See how it goes. Plus, I'm pretty sure Mikko Koskinen is in net for Edmonton, and Mike Smith's been the guy doing all the winning for the Edmonton Oilers in net lately. It hasn't been Mikko Koskinen. Last time we saw him, they lost 5-2 to Columbus. So yeah, he's obviously not exactly been at his best lately. So I think Sharks have a chance to take a bite out of the Oilers tonight. Alex, what do you think?
That's the clear pass for me. I'm not betting on San Jose in these next 2 games in any kind of form right now. Like I said, Edmonton back-to-back home games. If they aren't resting guys tonight, then keep an eye on that because they might rest everybody tomorrow. So, it wouldn't make it. I wouldn't be shocked to see Edmonton lose back-to-back nights, but I'm not going to put a bet on it.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm splitting this up, because I really do think San Jose could totally jump on Edmonton early, sleepwalking Edmonton that very first period after clinching everything. But then as the game goes on, Edmonton gets going, and if they do get going even just a little bit tonight, they're more than good enough to come back and beat San Jose. So that's exactly why I am splitting this up, first period and full game. Andrew, you don't have much, but anything you want to say, Sharks Oilers?
Well, I'll just say that I was doing a podcast yesterday with somebody that's from out in Western Canada, and they're big Oilers fans, right? Big Oilers guys, and I was pretty much saying, can the Oilers continue to do what they've been doing over the past little while in the playoffs? Can they replicate that? And the funny thing is that what we've seen is scoring in bunches. We've seen it from a supporting cast, and I've always tried to say, oh, we're seeing it for a week, then it's gone. We're seeing it for a couple of days, then it's gone. And now there's been several examples, guys, where we have seen this team put up 4 or 5 goals, and not one of Leon or Connor have gotten a point in those games, which is just so crucial and so huge for this team. And I do believe we'll see an effort from the Sharks. So, if I was playing this game, I'd actually look towards the over. But like I said, I'm off it.
All right, off it. By the way, Alex Barabanov is going to be on the top line for San Jose tonight, moving on up to play alongside Meyer and Hurdle for the San Jose Sharks tonight. So, I love those situations, right? Alex Barabanov going to be on that top line, and you're going to get his props, whether it's goal scorer prop and points, way off compared to the other 2 line mates. So, take advantage maybe of that. What do you think, Jimmy? San Jose, Edmonton.
Great minds think alike. I was going to point that out, and I'm going to jump on a goal prop for him. He's been a real pleasant find for the San Jose Sharks, and I can tell you they're trying to sign him right now an extension. He could become a UFA this summer, but they're trying to lock him up to an extension right now. So give me that, and that's actually my only play on this game. I really don't have any say on the side, the over-under. I really don't care much.
There we go. Barabanov. Let's see if he can find the score sheet, points, goals, all that good stuff tonight for the Sharks. Again, playing with Hurdle and Meyer, arguably the top 2 forwards right there on the San Jose Sharks offensively. No disrespect to Couture. He's up there as well, but definitely Meyer and Hurdle is about as good as it gets on this team. All right, final game. And man, is this line taking a beating. I looked at this last night. It was minus 120 in some spots on the Vancouver Canucks. They are now minus 180. At most spots here against the LA Kings in their home finale tonight at Rogers Arena in Vancouver. Minus 180 home favorites. The total in this one currently 6 across the board. So here's the problem. I mean, I bet it overnight in Vancouver. I figured it was going to go up a little bit. But do I want to take it now or recommend it now? Minus 180? I mean, that's a huge number. I mean, the only thing you can do now is regulation or puck line. I think if you're going to bet it, but boy, you've lost that's 60 cents of value, that's gone, in the garbage can if you haven't bet this yet. So, but I do think, obviously, look, I mean, LA's on a back-to-back. They won in Seattle last night, and look, they didn't roll over. They had a nice effort for a team that was locked into 3rd in the Pacific. We'll be going on the road to face Edmonton in the playoffs to start Game 1 next week. Very impressed. And look, they had Brown out, they had Iafallo out, they had Kempe out, they had Kopitar out. All of those guys, and they're out again tonight for LA, it looks like, and yet they still beat Seattle last night. So give the Kings credit. It was Gabe Velarde. It was Arvidsson, Deneau, Trevor Moore, Dursey from the blue line. It was all these guys stepping up for the Kings last night. Very well done, beating Seattle with a shorthanded group. But now you're on a back-to-back, traveling on the road for a second straight night. Not an easy spot. Vancouver, they're another team that even though they've been knocked out of the playoffs, I thought their effort was very commendable against Seattle the other night at home, knowing they had been knocked out. Still played a good game, wanted to finish the season strong. It tells you they like Bruce. They really do. Things have gone well with Bruce and these players this year, and I think they want to finish off well tonight as well. So, again, it's Vancouver or pass, but again, 60 cents of value gone down the shithole. It's very, very difficult to kind of recommend that now when it's gone all the way up to minus 180. At this point, you either got to play, if you like Vancouver, you got to look probably regulation or puck line Alex, what do you think here? Kings Canucks.
Yeah, I don't quite get this move toward Vancouver. I get final home game, but what I'm looking at is the projection of possibly Spencer Martin in that, whose numbers have been decent. 2-0-2 with a 1.69 goals against average, 953 save percentage. But is he going to be a guy even against the Kings team that may not be interested or maybe resting guys? Going to stand on his head once again and turn in a solid performance. I don't really know that. So I played the draw here. I got it at plus 340, and that's actually dropped now as well. We're now seeing plus 320, 325, which if this was a money line situation as far as like side, I probably wouldn't recommend that move. But plus 325 to plus 340 for a draw, that's still fine. That's still within range. Anything above 300. Like if you see a draw, which we could see in the playoffs, mind you, we could see where there's a bunch of overtimes that 300 becomes 295, 280, 285. Then that's the time where I might say, okay, I'll back away from a play, but I'll still take the draw here, even at 310 or 320.
All right, so liking the draw here, and boy, Alex, I feel for Alex's pain last night because he's like draw here, draw there, Habs game, Rangers game, and I know he was eyeing maybe a Vegas-Chicago draw.
31 seconds left in that Habs game, they get the goal to go ahead and win it. That's I think that might be the worst draw beat I've had. I've had a couple of them this year. That's probably the worst one of the season. So.
No, that's tough. And then you're seeing all these other draws all around you on the card.
Arizona come back from 3-0 to go into OT. That's the one that really ticked me off after seeing the Habs and Rangers lose. Though.
Yeah, that's infuriating in that situation. Andrew, what do you think here? LA, Vancouver.
Yeah, you're right about getting the price skyrocketing from when I was checking last night this morning to now 100%. But you left one option out. If you want the puck line regulation, how about the first period puck line at plus 165 for the Canucks to come out strong? I think we see the Canucks come out strong, and then maybe the Kings could battle back and say, okay, we got to wake the hell up here. That's kind of what I'm envisioning for this game. I see a good start from the Canucks, and maybe the Kings kind of get their act together, kick it in gear in the second period. So plus 165 Canucks first period.
All right, first period. So, and that's not money line either. That's minus a half, plus 160 in the first period puck line there for the Canucks for Andrew. All right, Jimmy, Kings Canucks.
Jimmy pass.
All right, there we go. So Cal Peterson, by the way, in net, he kind of needs a good game. I mean, I assume it's going to be him tonight because it was quick last night. He's given up 6 in each of his last 2 starts for the Kings. So he's in need of a better outing. We'll see if he can get it here tonight for the LA Kings as they take on the Vancouver Canucks. All right, great stuff. That is the Thursday card. 9 games in the NHL. And if you think today's card was a big one, my goodness, you haven't seen nothing yet, BTO style. We've got 15 NHL games tomorrow. Our regular season finale, that's another reason why we're taking Saturday off. Tomorrow is going to be a mega show. I'd be shocked if it's less than an hour and a half long tomorrow on the Friday show. 15 games, all but 2 teams in action. So looking forward to that regular season finale. We'll have Brett McLean back on the show tomorrow as well, joining us for this regular season finale edition. We're on for that. We're off Saturday, and we are back Sunday, May 1st, noon Eastern. Ice Guys Stanley Cup Playoff Preview Show. Bobby Ryan in the house joining us as a special guest on Sunday. We got special guests like galore coming up here throughout the playoffs. I posted a lot of the confirmed guests that we're going to have over the next few weeks. Carl Alsner, Derek Roy, Andrew Gordon, Stephen Fournier. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Who's going to be joining us here these next few weeks? Justin Peters, who's an NHL goalie for many years in the league. So there's just all kinds of people joining us here on the Ice Guys playoff preview shows over the next month or two. So looking forward to the Stanley Cup playoffs. I can't wait. There's some great matchups too. It looks like we might be being able to sink our teeth into in this first round. So going to be an exciting time of year for sure. All right, before we get to best bets, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers can bet just $1 on any NHL team, get $150 in free bets if they win with promo code THPN. If DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Hockey Contests. DraftKings giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN. Bet just $1 on any NHL team. Get $150 in free bets if they win. That's promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Must be 21 years of age or older. Must reside in a DraftKings Sportsbook state. New customers only. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Sign up for an account. Use the promo code THPN. And in case you're wondering, I've said that promo so many times, I don't even look at the script anymore. I know it off by heart. I know it. I can just recite it on command without looking at any script or text. So there you go. All right. Best bets for this Thursday NHL card. Alex, we'll start with you. Best bet.
Yeah, let's go with the Minnesota Wild tonight. Minus $1.10 against the Calgary Flames. If you look at the quotes from Dean Evison and some of the players after that loss to Arizona, they were not happy about that at all. And like I said, it just adds, it's another layer to what we've been talking about all year with this Wild team. The culture of this franchise has changed where, 5-6 years ago, they'd be like, hey, we're in the playoffs, whatever. We're just going to rest and make sure everyone stays healthy. This is a different mindset and a different mentality throughout this organization and throughout this lineup. I think they're going to come out guns blazing. They know, hey, we take care of business tonight. We got a good shot at hosting game 1 on Monday against the Blues. Everything's kind of locked up for Calgary at this point. So let's go with the Wild. Minus $1.10 is my best bet tonight.
All right, Minnesota minus 110 against Calgary. Best bet for Alex B. Smith. Andrew, best bet.
Well, I see the chat box talking about Ovi and different people that, hey, could make a difference on the Capitals if we don't see them. But I like this Capitals team to finish off on a great note before the postseason begins. They're playing an Islanders team that they've had some battles against in the past. Give me the Capitals here in New York to beat the Islanders.
All right, Washington minus 135 against the New York Islanders for Andrew McInnis with his best bet. Jimmy Murphy, what do you got for best bet?
Well, first off, just want to tell this guy, whoever he is, private user in the chat room here, keep the politics out of here, man. COVID isn't political. We weren't going Democrats, Republicans here. It just simply stated something that happened to me. So keep the politics out or go shove the ivermectin up your butt.
It's a hockey show.
You gotta wonder, too, someone's named private user. Come on.
Well, he's got, he's a keyboard warrior with no balls that won't show his own name. That's what those are. So I got the under in the Flames and Wild. I like that under 6.5 a lot. I think it's going to be a good goaltenders battle. I think Minnesota clamps down a bit. I think, like you said, Ian, Calgary's a little flat after an emotional win the other night. So I'm looking at the under there as my best bet.
All right, there we go. Under. Best bet here for Jimmy in this one. All right, and my best bet to wrap it up here, man, it's a big slate, lots to choose from here in this one. I'm going to go with, let's go Colorado team total over 3.5 against Nashville. It's just really, I expect them to get 4 goals. I do tonight in this game against Nashville. Dave Riddick, not exactly someone I'm trusting here. I think the Avalanche end up getting at least 4 goals in this game. So Avalanche team total over 3.5 minus 150. That is my best bet for this Thursday NHL card. And that'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. 132 live viewers. Hit the like button on the way out. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, Andrew McInnis, Jimmy Murphy, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Thursday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll talk to you again tomorrow on Friday. Brett McLean joining us, special guest for our regular season finale edition of the Ice Guys presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.